Roblox is home to many horror games. Some are pretty well made, and others are... Somebody crashed their car. What was that? I don't know. Oh, okay, so now it just appears out of nowhere. Just not the best. And these bad games really give a bad reputation to Roblox's ability to actually be scary. Like being able to scare someone who is 23 scary.
Why?
Kind of like how FNAF was clearly aimed at a mature audience when the first game was released, but over time it became this brain rot playground for a younger demographic, which I have to say, I am still baffled by the scene where the animatronics build a whole pillow fort. I mean, at that point, I realized the serious atmosphere of FNAF had officially left the mainstream construct within the community. But, like I was saying, horror games on Roblox have potential. I'm going to suggest 4 games to you that I think will give you a pretty terrifying time. If not that, then at least get your heart rate up. So, let's get started. First on my list is The Curse, created by It's Me Panos. The game is about a man who's an investigator and suddenly starts having dark and terrifying visions within his house. These visions help him regain his memory of his past life and his wife who had tragically died in a car crash. The developer mentions in the description that this game is heavily inspired by Madison, which is another horror game outside of Roblox. Throughout the game, you'll experience many scenery changes and very psychologically tense environments. So this game is not made for kids. They would definitely have nightmares or even have a hard time falling asleep after playing the game. I myself was pretty shook up while playing it. It also didn't help that while I was playing the game, my area was experiencing a huge thunderstorm late at night.
While the other person's parents that were with them...
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Holy crap, okay. One of the best things about this game is that it's multiplayer. You can have up to about 3 other people with you, and you won't feel cramped in the environment because the maps in this game are huge. The next game on the list is Blair. This game is much more well known compared to The Curse, with it having a total of 239.1 million visits, while The Curse has 44.9 million visits. Inspired by Phasmophobia, Blair has you go through a map to look for clues and ghost sightings in the area. But be careful, because not all of the ghosts are very welcoming or friendly. Now, coming from somebody who genuinely doesn't have an interest in Phasmophobia, I must admit, this game can be pretty fun and scary. If done right, you can encounter some pretty terrifying moments, not to mention the endless number of ghosts and clues you can discover within each map. However, it is important to point out that some mechanics in the game can be glitchy and really poorly executed.
No! It wasn't Merry Christmas? What the f*** is shit?
If you can look past that, this game is pretty well made, and one I definitely like to bring up as an option when I want to play a horror game with other people. Next on my list is a game that's not exactly scary, but it's a horror game you could have a good time with. Five Nights at Your Friends. The title pretty much speaks for itself. Spend 6 nights at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, except the animatronics are people from your friends list. Now, this has always been a concept of mine since the first Five Nights at Freddy's game came out. However, I'm not really a developer. Heck, I can't even make a 2-stage obby even if I wanted to. So seeing this concept brought to life made me extremely eager to give the game a try. You have the choice of playing the first or second game. The mechanics are exactly like the original games, so there's nothing really special or different other than the animatronics. During my playthrough, I encountered some bugs, especially within the second game. A friend of mine that I used for Balloon Boy was barely visible on screen as most of his character model wasn't even in view. Sometimes the animatronics would warp speed into their attack positions, giving me almost no time to react. Luckily though, the animatronics are pretty forgiving with how long it takes for you to put your mask on, so it balances out in the end. By the way, the hardest nights in this game are not easy at all, so it definitely gives you a rewarding challenge after completing the normal nights. All in all, this game is pretty fun. It's not exactly scary, unless your friends are dressed in some horrifying outfits. It's really more of a feel-good horror, if that's even a thing. Last on my list is a game that will definitely get your heart pumping if you don't like being chased, and that game is Nico's Nextbots, created by Nico Studio. Nico's Nextbots is a game based on those trending Gmod social media videos where a player gets chased by a large PNG image. The concept sounds pretty silly, but trust me, it can get pretty intense sometimes. In this game, there are 3 modes to choose from: Arcade, Open World, and Social Space. Arcade has you cycle through a number of rounds. Open World gives you the ability to explore maps, and Social Space is for players who like to practice maneuvering within a map or chat with other players. One thing I do want to point out is that running in this game doesn't exactly work all the time. In fact, most of the time it really doesn't. In order to have a fair chance against most Nextbots, you have to sprint then slide and jump continuously to keep your speed and momentum going. It's kind of an unfair mechanic within the game, and it makes it really easy to win. I'm not entirely sure if the devs are aware of this issue, but if they're watching this video, please fix this mechanic as soon as possible. Other than that, it's a great game. I absolutely love it. So that wraps up my list of horror games I recommend you play on Roblox. Let me know what your favorite horror games are in the comments, and I'll give them a try. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one.